I want us to understand what we are trying to address. We are trying to address instances where young people need access to sexual or reproductive health, and that includes information, that includes education, and it may in some instances include treatment. But their parents will either not consent to their detriment, or the children are unable to even have conversations with their children, with their parents about it. And I want us to look at the reality of what many young people, particularly young girls, face in Grenada. Many of them are abused sexually. Many of them are raped. Some of them suffer from family abuse. Some of them suffer from incest. And even when they try to go to their parents, because let's not forget, in some instances, it is the parents who are doing it. Well, there is no age of consent for having sex in Grenada. There are criminal prohibitions on persons who are of a certain age, specifically persons who are adult, or I would put it this way, 17 and over, having sex with persons who are 16 and under. And if you do so, then you're liable, even if the 15-year-old consented.
Prime Minister, your administration has submitted a bill for approval in Parliament that will reduce the age of civil responsibility from 18 to 16 years so that minors will not have to seek permission from parents when they require sexual and reproductive health treatment. When will there be consultations with stakeholders on this bill? I must also state, as a parent, I am against this bill, and I would like to have a forum to debate this issue.
All right, so thank you for that, and I'm happy. In a sense, this is a forum to debate the issue, so I'm happy for you indicating your views on the matter. I wish to point out that there has been extensive consultation on these matters. These are actually all matters that this administration met when it came into office. As recently as yesterday, I was pointing out to someone that when I just joined the political arena and I became leader of the National Democratic Congress, one of the first public events I attended was an event at Spice Basket, which was then being led by a team that was leading what is called a Spotlight Initiative, which main focus is on gender-based violence, providing access to women, including young women, to make sure that they have access to sexual and reproductive health. At the time, the minister who was leading this initiative was the Honorable Delma Thomas, who was then the minister responsible for those matters. And this has been an ongoing project or program spanning years. As I said, we're talking as far back as when I got involved, 2021, and even before that. So there's been extensive consultations on these issues. I think what happens sometimes is that because the consultation is so extensive and so long, that by the time the bills come to Parliament, people forget that there were extensive consultations and that it appears as if out of the blue some bill is being rushed through Parliament. So that's not the case. And I want to take the opportunity to just perhaps provide some rationale over this issue. And I think it's important because oftentimes we don't take the opportunity to explain a lot of the historical or legal context about things related to sex. First of all, there is no age of consent for having sex in Grenada. There are criminal prohibitions on persons who are of a certain age, specifically persons who are adult, or I would put it this way, 17 and over, having sex with persons who are 16 and under. And if you do so, then you're liable, even if the 15-year-old consented. If you're 18 or 19 or 20 or anything like that, you're liable to be charged criminally because for criminal purposes, the law says if you're under 16, you cannot give consent. That's the first thing. Second, I want us to understand what we are trying to address. We are trying to address instances where young people need access to sexual or reproductive health, and that includes information, that includes education, and it may in some instances include treatment. But their parents will either not consent to their detriment, or the children are unable to even have conversations with their parents about it. And I want us to look at the reality of what many young people, particularly young girls, face in Grenada. Many of them are abused sexually. Many of them are raped. Some of them suffer from family abuse. Some of them suffer from incest. And even when they try to go to their parents, because let's not forget, in some instances, it is the parents who are doing it. We have instances where men are sleeping with their daughters. If the child needs health treatment in those circumstances, is she able to go to the very perpetrator, her father, to ask his consent to go see the doctor? Of course, he will deny it. And in those circumstances, the nurse or the doctor, etc., will not be able to provide the treatment because you are a minor, you're 16 or you're 17. So what this is seeking to do is to ensure that we put the health, and I'm starting here with education, of our children, particularly those who are 16 and over, in a position where they can have access to health care, whether it's sexual or reproductive health care. That may start with education. That may start with simply being able to consult a nurse or a doctor or an allied health practitioner. We still face the taboo here where parents don't even want to speak to girls about the menstrual cycle. We have to be able to get to a point where we can talk about those things because it is education. It is about healthcare. It is not about trying in any way to prevent parents from having control over the children. So it is related purely to reproductive and sexual health care and access to health care. So I appreciate that whenever issues over sex and consent and adulthood or so comes up, it's sensitive, it's emotional. But this is not a bill that actually was drafted under the National Democratic Congress. These were all bills that would they were all in train even before we got into office. And so I certainly, if I have to come down on making sure that persons who are under 18 have access to sexual education and have access to reproductive health care, I will come down on their side. But we appreciate that these are sensitive matters and everybody may want to weigh in. And we have no difficulty with the debate. We have no difficulty with people stating their views. But I don't want us to pretend and engage in hypocrisy about the challenges many of our young people face when it comes to sexual and reproductive health care and access to sexual and reproductive health care. And so, for example, if children, and I'm using the word children deliberately, if a 16-year-old is having sex and they catch an STD, do you think they're going to go to their mother or father and tell them? So you have to weigh that against how do you treat the child? How is the child going to get access to the medication required to cure the sexually transmitted disease? They must go to a doctor or a nurse. If not, you ask them to go to some back alley or some back street or figure it out themselves, and the consequences will be worse. So this is not in any way designed to suggest that we want to take away parents' right to control their children. We really wish we would never even have to entertain such bills, but the reality and the statistics in Grenada show otherwise. There are a significant number of young persons who are contracting sexually transmitted diseases. It means they're having sex. And if we don't give them access to reproductive health care, if we don't give them access to sexual health care, it will get worse. They will get ill, and then they will continue spreading it amongst themselves and worse yet to other persons. So that is the reason behind the bill. But as I said, we accept it's passionate, we accept it's emotional, we accept it's sensitive, and we're happy to hear the views of everyone who wish to give their views on the matter.
Hi everyone, thanks for checking out the Bub Report's social media pages. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch our weekly live show, follow our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram pages, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can catch repeat episodes on Wednesdays at 4 and 5 p.m. respectively on CRFM Radio and GBN TV in Grenada. We are also viewed on Sundays at 8 p.m. on WPG 10 throughout the Caribbean. Thanks for watching.